Okay, great. So, welcome to the Sparkle Call. Welcome to anybody that's new. I am Claire Venus, and I am a creative engagement consultant and mentor, and started my journey with Substack back in April 2022, and I've been teaching about Substack since July last year and having a whale of a time learning the platform, testing, adjusting, working things out and sharing all of that knowledge and working with you all to do what you want to do on your Substack. So it's so brilliant to be here. I've just had a little holiday abroad, so I'm feeling very refreshed, if not slightly tired from getting in on an early flight early this morning. So I wanted to spend some time in two places today, in the settings page and also in paid subscriber renewals. I'm going to do paid subscriber renewals last, so that if you haven't got paid subscriber option turned on, or you're not intending to, then you can just leave the call if you don't feel it's relevant. So we'll go into settings first, and then we're going to go into paid subscriber renewal emails. It's a little bit of work that I think is just really worth doing. Especially when you're getting up to that kind of annual date, if you've done any specific launches or whatever, and people are going to be thinking about whether they're going to stay for a second year or whether they're kind of they're done and they want to kind of switch out. So we're going to spend a little bit of time thinking about that for our own Substacks. But in the settings, I'd just like to get a measure from you guys. If anyone wants to talk, you're super welcome. I just want to really get a measure to understand how you find the settings, how you find navigating, if you want to do something, if you want to change something, if you want to find something, how are you finding it all? Just so I pitch it all in the right way. You can pop it in the chat. Be really good to just hear from you. Also, it's really great if you can introduce yourself in the chat and put your Substack URL so you can get to know each other a little bit. That would be really nice, and you'll start seeing some of the same names. There are quite a few people who joined Sparkle on Substack for a year, and so they will be your supporters as well as mine. So do feel free to get to know each other. Yeah, anyone want to chat today? Sue, hi.
I let my Substack slip last year when my dog died. I kind of fell off my perch a bit.
Yeah.
And I went back in recently and I looked, I'm so pleased you're doing settings today, because when I looked, I thought, what? There are so many and I didn't know where to begin. So I
Yeah.
find it really difficult going in.
Yeah,
Whereas,
just heading in there and just being like, well, this is so many. What should I press? What should I do? Yeah. And I think part of that is there's nothing really to do. Once you get it set up, it's all there, but we don't have to do anything. Once it's all set up, and I'm currently doing a set up your homepage challenge in 30 days, there are a load of settings and options, but we don't have to do anything. So kind of knowing that and being in the mindset of, if it feels set up properly, if everything's working, then I'm probably okay. But I'll go through the main things that I think it's good to make sure that we've covered, so that we're not confusing people or using any of the Substack standard text, which can in itself confuse people. Anybody else feel free, do put your oh, so Julie's saying, I find the settings quite hard to navigate. Yeah, for sure. They are. They are. And honestly, I've been on Substack most days for 2 years, and I still go, it's just in that, where has that gone? It's bonkers. So yeah, right, I'm going to share my screen. You guys introduce yourselves in the chat and put your Substack URLs in so we can see that. Okay. So here we are in settings. I'm going to pop over here first, so that there are three places, just three, not six, three places to tinker around with settings in our Substack. So I'm going to call this the first place. Okay, so we go here. This is where our writer bio exists here. So this writer bio here, and then this description of what our publication is. And obviously I've got a couple of publications listed under there. When we want to edit this, we just press edit profile. And there we can edit our handle. And I do recommend choosing your name or your pen name there, because people will not remember Fluffy Slippers 22 or anything else magical that you want to put in. Like, just your name is great there. And then you've got your bio, which is limited by a certain number of characters. And I did mean to check and I've forgotten how many, but you can have about 3 lines, just keep it to about 3 lines. And then you've got some social links if you want to put them in there. Again, if you want, you don't have to. I've got a couple of journals that I have for sale, so I have those on there. And then you can choose, if you have two Substacks, you can choose which is your primary publication. Now, I do get this question sometimes, this is where it is. So say if when someone landed on my writer bio, I wanted to encourage them to subscribe to Creatively Conscious first, I would just change it there, but I don't, because I try and keep everything with Creatively Conscious separate because people get confused. So it's there, I do my personal writing, I talk about my business, but Sparkle on Substack is the Substack education place. So that's there. And then you can also turn these on and off if you want to. So I have guest access to Russell's publication there, but I just turn that off because, again, I don't want people to be confused. I had Culture Northumberland switched on for a little while because I was hosting a podcast there for a client. So I'm just going to leave that for now because I think there's one more to come out. And then you can see, you know, what reads you've got switched on and off there as well. So the main thing there is this bio. So if you're like, where on earth is that in settings? It's not in settings, it's here. It's in the profile. So if you want to write that down, you can also change your little picture here as well. If you want to write that down in terms of your handle and your bio, they sit together, and that is who you are as a writer. So you could end up with 10 Substack publications, you probably won't, but it's who you are as a writer and what you're plugged into, what you write and what you read, and where else you are on the internet if you want to put those things on. So hopefully that helps with that one. Okay. Then here, so this is your dashboard settings. And so we're not going to talk about statistical stuff today because I just want to go through the settings page with you, but you can click along all of these different things here. So obviously you'll have probably found this before, so you can find your draft posts. You've got your podcast if you've set it up. This is where you find your subscribers. I'll not click in because I'm recording. It'll share people's emails. Then you've got your stats. And a whole load more things to click here along stats. You've got your recommendations, which is a tool I wholeheartedly recommend that you use on Substack. Prioritize it, do it every month, go in, recommend other Substacks, because look what happens. 1,000 subscribers for recommendations. It's amazing. Substack do all of that in the back office for you. So that's where that lives. You just click the manage button if you want to recommend more Substacks there. And then we've had all of that. That is like our dashboard settings. So one, writer bio profile, what our writer self is plugged into, then our dashboard, and then this space is the whole big long list that everyone's like, why is there so many? Why are there so many things? Okay, so here though, you can search for something. So all you do, if you need something specific, so say you needed, let's think of something really easy, right? Where's my logo? There, magic. Okay, so my logo for Creatively Conscious isn't a logo at all. It's a photo of me with sparkles in the background. So there it is there, I found it. So sometimes if you know what Substack have called something and it's super obvious, that might be an easy way to just pop in and search for the thing. But I am going to just talk through this line by line. I'll just double check the chat. I think you're all just introducing yourselves. So that's also lovely. Brilliant. Okay. So remember, with the mindset, it's what do I need to change? Does anything need to change? Because sometimes we just want to update something and it's bothering us. So we just need to know where the 3 different places that we go to do that are. So publication name. So that's that there. Great. And we've got a short description of the publication. So we've got the writer profile bio over where we went first, and then this is the publication. So this should be an invitation to your readers, like why should they want to spend time in your publication, reading your work? What's it all about? Again, it's a short description, so 3 lines is good, but you know, have a play around with it. If you want to write more first and edit it down, that's a really good way to work with that. Then you've got site design. What do you guys know much about site design? No, just like, what does it mean? Okay, so we're going to pop straight over so I can show you. Right, so now we have some options with site design. At the top, we have branding. So this is where in Substack world, you can change your font, your colors, and the accent color. So like the icon color. So you would just click into that. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So it's actually moved word mark, which is helpful. So it's put this in since I was last in. So it's also another place you can do your logo. So you can do your logo. Your word mark is this here. And I've just left mine as the standard Substack text. You might have seen some people have like a fancy designed one that they've designed up in Canva. I had some problems with it. It was just coming really small, and I got the right file size and everything, and it still didn't work. And I just thought, well, it doesn't really matter. It's just not, just didn't feel like a priority. So we've left that, but that is what that is. Word mark means this, the designed version of your publication title. So that would replace, that image would replace this text here. And then obviously your web background, I've got this like oatmeal color. You've got a fair few options there. And then an accent color as well. And then your fonts, there's not a huge amount to choose from. I would just choose the one that you like the best and then start typing in it. And if you don't like it, come back in and change it. But it's luckily, you know, imagine if there was like the full Word document list of fonts, we'd just be like, I don't know, what looks nice. I think Substack do have a really nice interface. We can't really mess it up. It does look really nice. So I think that's all fine, really. You don't need to spend too much time thinking about it. But yeah, they have changed this a little bit since I was last in. That's what they do. So this is nice, actually. So this is what other people see. Again, this is brand new. I've not seen this before. I was only in here last week. So when you have your little blurb about what your publication is about, this is what people see when they land here, when they're not subscribed. So they can press learn more, they can put their email in, and then it's not actually showing me, but there should be a couple of recommendations, some testimonials under there, but it's not showing me that. Go back to the home page. Okay. Oh, and look, it's given us the option to look at it on phone as well. They're always tinkering. Right. Well, that's good to know. Okay. We'll head back out of branding. Is it going to let me head back? Yeah. Good. Okay. So if you're trying to make decisions around site design as part of the initial setup of your Substack, I would say just leave it for now, because as you're coming into the identity of what your Substack is and getting in flow with writing, you'll probably get some ideas of what you'd like to use, the colors, how you'd like people to feel when they land. So don't feel like you have to go in and change it. It'll just be white with orange, I think, is the standard. But once you get the identity, it's a nice thing to do. Okay. So language, obviously we've got that set to English. The about page, so I just taught a mini workshop on about pages, and you can also edit your about page when you're on the about page, but you've got it here as well. So if you were to press edit there, you're just going to head into this why subscribe. So this is my about page for Creatively Conscious. So if you're looking for that, that's there. But say if I save it, it might just, oh no, it's taking me back. I'll show you just so you've got it, because you don't have to go into settings to do it. If you go to your publication and then you're on your about page, you get this little edit button here. So that makes it editable. So you can edit your about page there as well. Okay. Just got to trust, haven't you? Right, I'll just go back in. There you go. Okay, so did logo, and then you've got your categories. So again, with categories, you don't have to worry too much. Your primary category is going to determine whereabouts on the leaderboard that your publication sits. So Sparkle on Substack is in the top 20. And the reason, I did a whole research piece with a colleague around this. The reason that it's in the top 20 is because of the earned income it brings in. So Substack will say it's to do with lots of different factors, which perhaps it is, but the test that we did showed that those top spots are all to do with how much money your Substack is making. So you can choose a category here that most fits, and people do suggest new categories all of the time. There are some that are confusing, but the primary category is where you're going to sit on the leaderboard. So if you scroll right down the leaderboard, eventually you should come to your publication somewhere, because we've all got a spot on the leaderboard. If people are exploring Substack, They might stumble across your publication because Substack have recommended it, or it's on staff picks, or it's on the homepage. So it is worth putting something that you think is most akin to what you're going to be writing about. The second category, again, it's quite mysterious. It doesn't have any effect and impact on the leaderboard, but I think it is just good to have it there because there's obviously some metric that Substack uses to help us recommend new work to each other. So that one's there. So if you ever need to take a break from emailing your paid subscribers, if you wanted to take a conscious holiday and you'd promised that you would email them every week or every month and you wanted to take a 3-month sabbatical, that is the button that you press. So again, it just sort of appears, and this is what is frustrating about the settings page, because if there were just more titles of kind of organizing, okay, this is when we're now talking about paid bits and this is when we're doing this. So if you've not got paid switched on, you'll not see this part. This is where you can set up your monthly and your yearly subscription. You can add a founding member plan, which I have turned off for Creatively Conscious because it was just one tier, too many to think about. And then you've got your payment settings here where you can set up various other different things, including 7-day free trials. So I've talked about 7-day free trials in the Sparkle call before. If you're going to turn them on, leave them on for a good 60 days, if not 3 months, to see how it's impacting overall on your paid subscriber growth. It's not really any good just having it on for a week unless you're going to do a big push and say, I've turned paid subscriber trials on for a week. It's not very long, and it's really interesting with Substack because we are quite a sort of a slow read, slow decision-making community in lots of ways. So I think it's almost better to do a coupon for a little bit longer, and that's worked really well for me. But if you wanted to turn it on, you can tick that box, and I've currently got it turned off at the moment. So that's turned off. And then these quite short, again, character counted lines are what people are going to see when you put in that paywall or when someone is being invited to subscribe to your publication. So the free subscriber benefits, obviously you get 1 line, and then the paid subscriber benefits, you get 3 lines. But I really recommend fleshing that out some more. If your post is really encouraging people to cross over the paywall, this isn't going to be enough because nobody knows what it means, not really. Like, it's great for them to see it and to be reminded, but I have to explain my work a bit more than that just because of the nature of what it is that I'm doing. I think that 3 lines is hard, and if it was about something really easy to describe, like weekly essays, and it was really different to the free offering, then that's clear, isn't it? But because mine's a membership, it is more complicated. So there we go. And then this is a special offers here. So when you click manage special offers in settings, this is where I've tried out various different special offers over the last little while. So the first one I did was a year ago. And it'll show you how many people have taken up that special offer. So various different statistics here of the redemptions and then when the expiry dates are. If you want to create a new one, so like I was saying around the 7-day free trial, what some of my paid members have done is kind of either done, 14 days or a 30-day, or, picked a birthday number, whatever. You can pick anything you want. You can be creative with it. And then you give it a little title, specials, just for you, or whatever you want to do. And then you can choose whether it's a free trial for however many days. These are the options that you get. Or, 24 hours, that's wild, isn't it? But that's probably like the old news days, I think. And I'm not from a news background, so maybe, there is something in that. If you've got people that are more used to that kind of flash, you can come in, but you've got to be quick. And then you've got the percentage discount there as well. And then you've got these options where you can choose forever, which is a really, really generous thing to do because we just don't know, do we? We don't know the economics of Substack going forward, or you can choose 12 months in there. And then that's when you can set a date if you want to set a date. So I've currently got one running on Sparkle and it's got an expiration date. And again, it's just a big test just to see how that goes. You can set a special short link. You can give this offer to anyone who subscribes. Now, this is an interesting one because from a customer service point of view, you're going to get an email if someone's missed out and then realize that they've missed out. So I think it's better to tick this box, if I'm honest, unless you were going to email it out without posting it. So if you were going to filter your subscribers by, say, your most engaged subscribers and just email it out, then it's okay not to tick that. But I think if you are going to put it out far and wide, then you just need to be really transparent about that, because otherwise you'll just get an email from someone who said, oh, well, I just signed up yesterday, but I've missed the discount. Can I have it, kind of thing? And you have to sort all that out. So just thinking about the flow. I always limit the offer to annual plans, because there's just a small culture, really small culture of people hopping about and asking a lot of questions and reading a lot of stuff and watching a lot of stuff and then just disappearing again. And that can feel quite difficult energy to manage when I'm trying to look after everybody. So I always do that. But again, it depends what you can manage and how much volume you've got and capacity. The group subscriptions, I've never really done that much with group subscriptions. I've tried it, but it got quite complicated, because essentially people have got to pay each other back. Like, they've got to sort out that bit of it. So I don't worry too much about that. And I don't honestly know what they mean by that last one. So I would not worry too much about that. But that's your special offers. So we'll pause there because we've got more to do. But I want you to just have a think about if there is anything for you around that special offers or the free trials within this next year or so. So either do it April to April within that tax year for your business, for your newsletter business or your holistic business, or just until the end of the year. If you've got a birthday coming up, if you've got a Substack birthday, do you want to do a flash sale? Do you want to do something around Christmas time? Let's just make a few notes and then I'll hop back in, just because otherwise you'll be so bored just listening to me talk through the settings page. Okay, I'm just going through your questions, and what I'm going to do, if I don't get a chance to answer them in the call, because there were a lot of really nuanced questions, I'm going to just make some little tutorials for you so that you can get to understand those specific things, but I'll try and answer as many as I can through the call. So just keep me on track. Right, let me share my screen. I've answered a few and just keep them coming in because it's helpful for me anyway, so that I can then make more videos for you. So let me know in the chat if anything cropped up for you in terms of thinking about those special offers, thinking about how you might hold people over the year, what you might do. I wrote down that I might be really bold and on my birthday do a 43% off flash sale, because I've never really done a flash sale and it just feels like that would be fun. Like that would be a fun thing to do. I'll have to go into it more because it's a big discount, so I don't want to upset anybody who's paid full price. So I really need to think about it. But yeah, I'll be 43 in August. So it was a question really. And sometimes these are questions, you know, we've got to really feel into them and be like, is this right for us? There's a whole load of noise and different things that go on with the way other people manage their publications, but what's right for us? Okay, right, let's get back to where we were. Here we go. We've done that one. Okay. We've done the categories. We've done that. We've done that. Okay, so your welcome emails here. So you've got more options here than we used to have. We've got this one that is around imported subscribers, and then we've got the free and the paid subscribers. So when we go in to edit these, you can do this as often as you need to, but you're really thinking about how you hold that subscriber through understanding what your publication is. So they've read a post, they've read your about page, they've subscribed, for example, they get the welcome email, hopefully they'll read it. Maybe you do something that encourages them to read it. And then what else it is that you want to say within that. Even if they're just skim reading it, it's definitely worth giving some time to this. And it's coming up next week in the 30-day set up your homepage challenge. So I'm going to talk about it more there. But if you go in to edit any of these emails, then you're going to just be here and you can just edit those as you see fit. Oh, I need to take that out. See, this is how long it's been since I've gone in there, and then save that. And then that's going to be updated and it's going to take you back there. It'd be helpful if it took me back to the same place, wouldn't it? Anyway, we'll get back there. There we go. So you've got all of those different options. When you import your subscribers, if you did import them from MailChimp or another mailing service provider, it's going to ask you if you want to edit that email, if you want to do anything with that email. So again, you know, until you're ready to do that, it's good to know it's there, but don't worry about it too much. So the recommendation blurbs on the welcome page, that's what I was saying to you about when Substack was showing me what a new potential subscriber would see. You can change these. So I have added 3, you can only add 3 to the welcome page that new subscribers would see before they become subscribers, new readers. And you can change these up just by adding different blurbs in. So when you go in here, there'll be some lovely kind words about your Substack, hopefully. And if there isn't, don't worry, because we'll encourage this activity a lot and we'll encourage you to reciprocally look after each other, because this really works in terms of growing your Substack. So if you wanted to add a new welcome page blurb, that would be where you would do that one. Oh, it's going to take me back to the top. Thanks, Substack. Right, here we go. So there's another opportunity for the word mark, and the cover photo is what people see as a new reader. So that's where you can put a cover photo in there. So once someone is inside your publication, they won't see that photo again. It's only for them arriving. So some people do something in Canva where they add text and words and kind things, and then they have a look at it to see how it all reads together. I've just done one of my photos that I really like. You've got some choices there. So these options, again, it just feels more complicated than it needs to be. But if you've designed something up in Canva with words on, you might want to hide your publication's name because you might have put it in this image. Does that make sense? So, you know, there's an option. They like us to be creative. And then so you've got an option here where you can choose your email replies. So I've just got everyone can reply. So you get your Substack email address when you sign up to Substack. So if someone was to type this in to email me, this then comes through to me via the kind of magical channels of me being signed into Substack with a different email address, if that makes sense, it'll reach me. But you can change that. So if you didn't want anybody to be able to reach you, then obviously you've got that option there. The shareable images, this is where, have you seen where you get like a tile design that you could share on Instagram or another social media site that gives a bit of a preview of your post? So I get those emailed to me so I can just download them and then upload them to Instagram if I want to, but you can turn that off if those emails get annoying. So that's how you would do that there. And then you've got your RSS feed email there. So this is where it's frustrating because chronologically we should have been in this when we went into branding at the top, but now we're in Substack website as we've scrolled down. So on your homepage, and Substack class the homepage as like the place people land. So when you land on Sparkle on Substack or Creatively Conscious, these are going to be the links. So I haven't got any here yet, but let me put it in on Sparkle and show you what's there. Again, I just thought it was one step too many really, but it's been useful here. So this is where these appear. So obviously everything within the layout is there in terms of posts and recommendations. And then under recommendations, I've got my Instagram, my YouTube channel, and then my website and my shop. So we'll pause there again and have a think about if there's anything that you would like there. People do click these. So it is what, I mean, they are slightly hidden, but people do click them. I do find that people click them and click through into them. So just pause there and just think if there's anything that you'd like to share in that space. It's called homepage links. So we'll use Substack's terminology. So you might have a book, you might have a website, you might want to remind people what your LinkedIn is. Remember, we've got that in our writer profile as well, but it's just a different place for it. Okay, I've answered a few more of your questions in the chat. So what did you come up with? Let me know in the chat if it kind of made sense for you to pop anything in there. I mean, you don't have to overthink it, but just know if you do want to put anything in, it's called homepage links. You can search for it there, just put the word home in, I would say, and then it should come up and then you can do that there. But let us know what you think might go there because it'll help everybody else as well. So these coloured links, I quite like them, so I just have them switched on, and then I also have these previous and next post links switched on. Basically, most things that Substack encourage, I just say, yes, fine, just do that, that's fine, because I trust their design of the interface. So that's where the decision making around, should I do it, should I not? For me, I'm like, well, yeah, just we'll switch that on, it's fine. Unless I've given it some deep thought and I'm like, no, that's not for me. So like obviously with the 7-day trial at the minute, that's just not something I've got switched on at the minute. And then this is to do with your thumbnails. So if you're finding your thumbnails on your homepage are pulling through a bit squiffy, you can do smart cropping and see if that fixes it there. Again, it's called website. They mean the homepage. It's tricky to know that those things exist, but they are there. I don't expect you to remember this, but we're recording, so we'll be fine. So there we go. Okay, navigation. So on here, again, it's calling it our website. So it's our publication website, the homepage. These are the things that you can turn off and on. And I've covered this before in sections and tags. So when we do the tidy up calls, we do lots of work around what's the best thing to do. Is it a section? Is it a tag? And just to show you on Creatively Conscious, what it actually looks like when it's pulled through. So it's here. This is the navigation here. So you can have as many tabs here as you want, but what I would say is less is more, because if you're giving people multiple invitations, sometimes you get to that place where it's like, I don't know what to click. Like, I'm just too confused. I'll just go and read something, and that's great. We might want that. But I tend to keep it quite short, and I just have, okay, this is where members go. I want to look after those guys and make sure they know where to go. And then I've got the creative projects tab as well, because it's something that's very dear to my heart and something that I want to have a space for. So that's where you would find that. And then this little eye means you can turn it off and on. So say if I turn that back on, it's going to give me an update to say that's what we're doing. Take me back to the beginning, thanks. When I refresh this, hopefully it should have turned it back on. Yeah, so it's just appeared in there. So it's still there as a section in my Substack, but I've got it turned off. So I'll just go ahead and turn that off again now. You've seen it done now, so hopefully that helps with knowing how easy it is to turn off and on. Yeah. Did that do it? Yeah. So the little eye with the cross through is off, and then anything where the eye is just open is on. And then you can add a new link if you want to add a new link. You've got so many options with the way to organize your Substack, and we won't do that today, but that's what we've got there. Now I've got a special page for vision board resources, because I've got so many resources around vision boards. I just love them. And every time I do a new class, it ends up on that page. So I created a page for that. It's not anywhere that people will find, but it means that I get a link for it. So when I need to find it and edit it, there it is. I can go back in and find it and edit it for folks. And then I've got some tags. So the tags that I've got for Creatively Conscious, I've organized it so that they are pulled through and show up here. So self-seed your business is a tag, and so it shows up here on the homepage. And it could definitely be clearer. There's always ways to make it more clear. But again, because I'm using the URLs a lot, this is really just a landing space. And if people are curious, they'll click in, and then I know I've got the URL to send them as well. So you can have a URL if you start a tag, and you can also have a URL if you start a section. So both of those things work. Okay, so you import, this is where you would add emails in, and this would be primarily if you've got a lot of emails to add in, because you can add one subscriber at a time in your subscriber settings. So that was the second place that we went into, where I said I'm not going to click here because of data protection. But if you add in like an import, this is where you do that. This is what you would paste onto your website to have a Substack sign up, all branded up and lovely. Doesn't actually work on my website. I keep having to fix it, but that's what you would do. And then I'm actually not really sure about private mode. I've never read that one, but I've not turned it on. I think I'm fine. Okay, so yeah, so it must have jumped up a bit before. Anyway, so we've done the page bit. We've talked about this already. We've done this bit already. We're going to come back to renewal emails and do some work on that. This is for the tax man, should you need it. You can just get that from Stripe though as well. And then this one is interesting if you're a writer and you do a lot of writing and you are producing quite a lot of posts, you might want to say, okay, like everything after a certain number of weeks is paywalled. So, you could just try that out. I can't do it on either of my sites. I have tried. It just means that sometimes the links get broken and people will say, oh, I was going to read this, but now it's gone paywalled. So it just doesn't work for me, but it might be something that works for you. So it just means people have got a whole archive that they can go into as a paid subscriber, and you can offer that as a paid subscriber benefit. The downside is that if somebody if you want to reshare an older post or you want to give it some more life, then it's going to be behind a paywall. So some of your best work might end up behind the paywall with less eyes on it as new subscribers are coming in. So you've got to kind of work through the balance of that. This is where you add a section. So when I was talking about the little eye and switching it on and off, that's where you've got the section there. And then these are my podcasts. This is how your publication is sent. So I don't have my mailing list and my mailing address in because it just seems irrelevant, really. So I just wrote something a bit whimsical in there and then gave myself the copyright. And then I have it come in from Claire Venus from Creatively Conscious on Substack, because I have another mailing list as well where it comes from me and my husband. So I hope that this then just makes it clearer. I hope. I don't think it's as clear as it could be, but you can change that there. Okay. So your header and your footer settings, we've talked about that before and how you can utilize them and strategize with them. But again, that's where they are. This one, the opt-out page, I'm not going to go into it, but there are all of these different things that you can turn off and on, in terms of how you want to manage your own publication. So it's sometimes I'm just like, it just feels like settings for settings sake, but it's there. So if you really wanted to do anything with any of that, it is there. You can manage your recommendations here, but you also can manage it from the second place that I went into when I said that's your writer profile, that's your dashboard. So I recommend going into it from dashboard, because here, how would you even know it was there? I'm allowing Substack to list by publication. I have edited this publication introduction. So this is where it would appear on the explore page. And I've had a question that I am going to just pop over and show you guys where. So this relates to leaderboards. This is where all the leaderboard activity happens. These are the leaderboards. So this is the leaderboard for culture, technology. This is the same as categories. So you can click through and you can scroll through all of these different profiled newsletters. And then if you wanted to see what was on the leaderboard, you have to press see all at the bottom, and then you're going to get the top. So one space is staff picks, one space is what Substack are just profiling, which I think is automated. I'm pretty sure it's just like us doing all of our work we do on Substack and them kind of spitting it out. So, and then this is the place where you scroll down and you can eventually find your publication if you're interested in that at all and understanding what that is and how it works. And you can also find other really fun things to read. So these are my recommendations that Substack think that I would like to read. And I definitely don't have time to read anymore, so I never really come here, but it's saying it's trending, so maybe just getting quite a bit of activity. And then these are handpicked by the staff of Substack, so these can be really interesting spaces to get out of our echo chamber and see what everybody else is up to on the Substack platform. But these all relate to the categories that you choose, so that's where you're going to find your category there, and then obviously you can see who's writing what in there. If you want to spend some more time as a reader and you're in your reader mindset, that's where you would go. So the search engine thing, again, it doesn't really bother me if they index the paywalled content. I just sort of figure, like, well, that's fine. Yeah, I'm happy with that, but you might have different opinions on that. Blocking AI training, I probably want to turn it off. I think I'm still getting my head around AI and everything that it is and can be, but do I want AI to use my tone of voice? Not really. Not really, because it's mine and it belongs to me. So yeah, it's a funny one. We'll switch it on there for now. So some pop-ups and stuff, again, I'm just trusting Substack with that. And then this opt-out message, did you see when I went on my welcome page and it said, I'll just read it, thanks, or you can have not right now, or whatever language that you want to use. If somebody wants to click in but not subscribe, that's where you would find that to edit that. And then the footer prompting paid readers to enable auto renew. So this is a new one, and I'm not clear exactly where it would show up, but I'm presuming when someone is a paid subscriber, they can just say, oh yeah, you don't have to remind me, it's fine, I'll just keep the subscription going. But yeah. And I haven't customized my terms of service and privacy policy yet. It's on my list to do, to have a look at. This is where you would invite somebody to be a guest co-writer, and you've got some options there. So these are all people that I've collaborated with in the past. So there are all the lines there. And then if I wanted to invite someone new, I could just put someone's email in and it would pop up there, and they'd get an email invite, and then it's going to give me an option to add them either as a public admin contributor or a byline. And so I just add everybody as byline because it's a collaboration. So I'm not giving them access to my publication. I'm just saying, yeah, they're a guest. So the complicated thing with that is that you just have to do it all over email. They don't actually get to see the post. So the only way that you would do that is by adding them as an admin. So byline is safe all round. Was that one? Community, I mean, interesting, isn't it? But I guess what they're saying within community is how you manage your subscribers, and if you need to do anything in terms of moderation or any bans or anything like that, it's there. You've also got some options about how you list your comments. So if you do have a publication that gets over a certain amount of comments, it can get a bit difficult to manage. So you can choose new first, which I think is much better. Oh, it's actually brought me back down. I didn't even realize that was switched on to top because new's much better. And then you've got some analytics that you can plug in. I should probably do a little bit more than just Google site, but we'll get round to it, won't we? If you know about that stuff, it's all there. You can plug it in, and then some more notifications. These, I mean, there's just so many, guys. I just feel like I pretty much went to smart notifications and then didn't worry about it because I only get notified in the app. And then now I've got comment notifications switched on because when I do that, I have one email and it groups all the comments from that one post. And then, so I've just been away for a week. So I had basically 3 emails, and then all the comments attached to those posts were in one thread, which was really helpful for me because in notifications, it could be like a note or a tag or something. So you can have a look through these. This is where you can turn off if someone unsubscribes. You might want to just turn that off. I have. Don't want to know. It's fine. We can all just move along. And then you can ask Substack to act as a bit of an accountability buddy for you here, and email you to finish your drafts. So if you've started a draft and you haven't finished it, they will email you to say, make sure you finish your draft, which is quite cool, isn't it? I've had that on before. Okay. So your chat features. So your chat is like a WhatsApp chat. Some of you use it, some of you don't, but this is where you would manage the settings for that. I have it on both publications that only paid subscribers can, only paid subscribers can start threads on here. I must have it. Have they done that? Everyone. Right. Okay. Who can start threads? What they mean is who can start chats, forget the threads bit. So you can have it so that everyone who's subscribed to your publication could start a chat. You could have it as paid subscribers, or you could have it as publication contributors. So I've got it as publication contributors on Sparkle, because otherwise I would have lots of people asking questions in that chat thread. And I just feel it's better to just do the Monday thread and have everybody ask under the Monday announcement. So yeah, and then you've got your notes tab. So if you don't want to participate in Substack notes, you could just turn that off. if you're not really bothered about notes and you're finding it's a bit of a headache and you just want to focus on your writing, you can just turn it off so that you haven't got that notes tab as a kind of as a thing for people to click into. Okay, bear with me, guys. We're nearly there, promise. So the boost is relatively new, and I, in the spirit of trusting Substack, just said, yep, just do all the things, Substack, that's fine. So it's basically going to email your most engaged subscribers and try and convert them to paid. That's what Boost does. So when you get the email to say you've got a new paid subscriber, it'll tell you whether they've come through Boost. And I've definitely had a good couple of handfuls through that. And it's something that Substack just do for me. So for me, Substack are just acting like an assistant, because if people are already subscribed and they can see that, that's fine for them to offer them a discount. I just think that's great, you know. So that's what all that is. So you can have that turned on or off. And then this teaser post, this is again relatively new, last couple of weeks. That means that you can unlock one post, so you can turn that on or off. So if you're writing about really personal stuff and that feels not quite the right tone, obviously you can untick that box. But I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. If someone wants to unlock a post and read it, I'm going to just trust in the process. So that's what that one is. And then they've got this referral program, which you might have seen, where if somebody adds and encourages people to subscribe to your publication, then they'll get some benefits. So you can customize the reward tiers there. So you could say, okay, if someone invites 3 people, they can have a month free. If someone invites 10 people, they can have 2 months free. You can do all of that there if you want to, or you can turn it off. You've got all these options. I just think it's a nice thing. So, and then you've got your gift subscriptions as well. So if you wanted to do a push on gift subscriptions to say, you know, around Christmas time, my Substack makes a great gift for people. This is how you buy them a gift. It's really easy to set up, really easy to do. And if you've got the type of Substack where people would think that's a great zero waste Christmas present and a lovely thing, then that would be a really nice thing to think about. Okay. So your custom domain is if you want to plug in your own website and have the whole redirect thing set up. I haven't done it, so I can't really speak on it, but Russell Nolte over at the Author Stack has done it, and Sarah Fay, Writers at Work, has done it as well. So you could ask them about the custom domain if that was something that you wanted to do. For me, I like that it says Substack. I like to be clear with people so that they understand where they are. They're not on my website. This is my Substack. It's a publication. It's like a magazine where I host a membership. I just like to be very clear about that, but it depends how holistically you want to plug your business into it. There we go. We've made it. We've made it. So you can export your data. So Substack, one of the massive benefits of Substack is that you can take your subscribers with you. You can move them across to another platform if that's something that you wanted to do. So if you run a business, lots of people think about that and they think, okay, well, I might plug them into a flow desk, or I might plug them in over here. And this is where you would do that. You do your export and then you'd be able to upload it wherever you wanted. If you need to turn anything off or delete anything, then you can do that there. But I'd honestly get frightened even when I go there. Like, no, I don't make me press the big red button. So once you get down to the red, you know you've finished the settings page and you get the certificate and the badge and the t-shirt and everything. And you're like, there's nothing else that I need to know about Substack. It's all good. But until then, this is the big long settings page and we have covered it all. We've gone over it all. It's all there. There's a lot of it. Substack gives us a lot of options, but it doesn't mean that we need to, you know, spend hundreds and hundreds of hours working it all out. We need to come to our Substack and understand what it is that we want to do on there, and if we can enhance what it is that we're doing, whether that's around communications or just clarity really for our readers, if we just keep coming back to that, because otherwise we just end up in a black hole of faffing around and not doing any writing. So 2 years of Substack experience, and that is my take on the settings page. It's long and drawn out, but I think hopefully there'll be some bits in there that you've thought, oh yeah, look into that later. And there'll be some other bits and bobs that you think, no, I'd never need to worry about that. Okay, so let me just stop sharing my screen a second and I'll go into the comments, and then we're going to talk about the paid subscriber renewal thing, email thing, for those of you that want to stay for that. actually need to get a drink. The subscriber page. The sales page is so long, I'm literally parched. Right, where has my chat gone? Here we go. Okay, brilliant. You guys are just all chatting and just asking things. I'm going to go through these when we do the next bit. So much, there's so much. And if you see someone else's Substack and you're like, oh, I wonder how they've done that, it'll be in the settings page. Like that's what it is. It's your publication settings. So there's the statistical stuff, which is all about your subscribers and kind of how it's all working. And then there's that settings page, and that's where it'll all be. If you see something that someone's got and you haven't got it, you will have it. It'll be in there. Okay, good. So I'll read these when we're doing the next little bit, but let's just have a chat about paid subscriber renewal emails, which was the second part of what I wanted to talk to you about today. So because Substack is such a long game, and I say that like in the most meaningful way, like it's not a game at all. It's beautiful work. It's something that we're all new to, but we know that it takes time. It takes time for free subscribers to want to convert to paid, if ever. It takes time for us to understand what it is that we want to do for all of the different tiers, how we want to write there, what energy we want to plug in. Knowing that zoom out place, and we did a call like this at the start of the year when we were talking about our 5-year plan of knowing how long we expect to hold people for in our paid subscriber area or membership or whatever it is we're doing is really important. So I've just done a big new push on the founding member tier, which I've called Diamond members, and they are automatically subscribed for a year. So within that year-long container, I know exactly what the offer is, but I also know what it is in year 2. Now, for the work that I do is in service. So I would hope that people feel like, okay, like I'm grand, I'm off, I'm doing all of my brilliant Substack things and I don't need to be here, but they might still want to be there. So for me, it's about people wanting to stay rather than needing to stay. And there's no fear there. Like I genuinely, I'm like, if people, because it's a membership, if people want to stay and want to be part of community and want to keep learning and growing together, that's great. But if they're ready and they've had enough and they're ready to kind of do other things, sometimes as well, people feel like, oh, I can't quite get round to it. I'm never getting round to it, so I'll leave. So there's that balance, isn't there, of like how much we're offering and how that all feels, which for some people it's going to be the right amount. For other people, it's going to be too much. You know, it's just the whole Goldilocks thing. So with that zoom out and the paid renewal email, people only get it in like just before their annual subscription runs out. So it's 6 days before their annual paid subscription runs out. So I could look at that and kind of go, okay, well, I launched in July. You know, did I get quite a lot of annual subscriptions then? Do I need to think about it then? Do I think about it just every month? Like, how do I want to think about this and what is the language? But because it's an automated email, it's really more about how I want to talk to that person, that individual person that is going to be receiving that email. It's an email that people will open because it's to do with their payment. So they want to know, okay, am I going to be automatically charged or what do I do here? So it's something that you're definitely going to have their attention for, I would have thought. Usually that's the case. So thinking about, and we'll journal on this, thinking about your paid subscribers and then renewing with you for another year, what is it that you want to say? Is it around more of the same? You know, we don't have to offer, oh, and then you get a special t-shirt through the post and you can come round for a coffee. Like, we're all right. You know, they've had a brilliant time. Is it more of the same? Is it something extra? Is it a preview to something that's coming up? Is it something that you're excited about? What is it if they are going into year 2? And some people might stay, you know, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. We just don't know. We don't know what that is yet because we haven't worked it out. Some of the writers who were invited to join Substack in the early days that run that subscription model for their writing, they know. But I don't know many of them. So I'll have to do some digging and find out. So we're doing it just for us. We're going to work out, okay, what are we asking ourselves about this email that goes to this one person who's being asked in 6 days' time, you're going to renew. Do you want to do that? Let's do some journaling. I'll put this in the chat and I'll get back to some of your questions as well. Okay. How did you get on with that? Is it a difficult thing to think about? I feel like because we've had this experience of monthly subscribers coming and going, there's this bit of acceptance around sometimes monthlies come and go, sometimes monthlies pay monthly and stay. And then there's this other bit of the picture around how long does someone stay? What are we inviting them to do? Like, what does that feel like? So I just wanted to give it some time. But when you put in the chat anything that cropped up for you, and I'll just go back into the settings to show you what it looks like and how we can change it. I'm going to use the search function. Oh, handy search function, thank goodness, because honestly, you would just be scrolling, wouldn't you? Right, share screen. Okay. So I just put in renewal into the search function there, and then it says subscription renewal email. Email sent to annual subscribers, so it only happens with annual. Monthly, obviously, they're just on that rolling monthly thing, and they've got to just cancel that themselves. So email sent to annual subscribers 1 week before their paid subscription expires to restore to the default subject line, save your changes with no subject. Who knows what that means, but we don't need to know, it's fine. So my title there is your subscription will renew in 6 days, which is the title that Substack gave me. And then I've done a tiny little bit of an edit here, which is basically just a thank you, you know, because I just felt like at that point when I was doing this work, I just want to thank them for being there. And I think there's a second part to that now that I've enhanced what it is that I offer on Creatively Conscious. So I could do that and I could make this a lot longer than it is, but it's just a very short and sweet. It's going to go anyway, you know, it has to go. Substack has to do that. This is how they've set it up. So you want to kind of go in and go, okay, what's this looking like and what do I want to change? Even if you just change it from the standard what Substack have put and just put a tiny bit of your identity there, like I have today, just do that. So I'm going to, before we finish, give you 5 minutes just to do that. So go into your settings, type renewal. If you get stuck, please let me know and I'll walk you through it again. And I'll just go back and answer some more questions while you're just having a little tinkle with that. Okay. So if there's anything that's sprung to mind as I've been thinking a bit more deeply about how we hold people in the turn of their annual subscription, which is obviously going to be sometimes there's peaks and troughs. So we might have had a lot of annuals joining at once if we've done like a special offer or something, but mainly it's all the time. We just want to kind of make sure that that email that they get feels like us, feels like it's coming from us, and it feels like it's that point of connection. So if there's anything around that, put it in the chat. I'm going to stop recording and we'll just have a few minutes just to chat if anybody wants to unmute and chat. Obviously that won't be recorded. Let me just find the button. Where are we going there?